마더스피어의 구원을 아직 기다리고 있는 거야.
이브 조심해. 전방에서 뭔가가. At number 1, it's the single most anticipated project game in development out of South or just Korea right now. I'm pretty sure most of you already know Project Eve, the game I've tried to keep a close eye out for a long time, and for those of you new, however, a hack and slash action adventure from all the way back almost 4 years ago by Shift Up, these developers. Those of you who've actually been waiting, this game is now set to come out early to mid 2023, and this is how it really looks on the PlayStation 5. Coming up behind that, by the same creators of Dead by Daylight, actually now an open world puzzle game, something I've been thinking about myself for a while, called Project S. Now, this thing actually came our way no more than a couple of days ago and ever since making a huge wave of hype with it. Just take a look. This game is coming to PCs only and due out early to mid 2023. At number 3, and I've known about this one for a good couple of months, so maybe you do too, something called Project Untitled FPS. Some good work from a two-man indie studio called Risky. I believe so far actually known for another pretty good-looking game called Hong Kong Massacre. Well, this is, as you could probably tell, pretty much like the recent Matrix project thing from the Game Awards, and something I believe could look like if you would mix Max Payne with first-person shooter elements. Well, check it out, the game's set to be a PC exclusive and due out early next year. Alright guys, quick mention over here. See, IO Interactive, which is technically the same folks behind all Hitman games to this day, in case you didn't know, has been developing a James Bond game currently being referred to as simply Project 007. In case you didn't notice, there actually isn't much known about this one, considering it was announced more than 2 years ago, so there's something going on with this one. It is, for those of you wondering, in full development plan and only rumored to be coming out late 2023, so keep it in mind. At number 5 by NCSoft, and announced around the same time last month, we have by developers of all Lineage games something called Project M, a supposedly a visual novel style adventure game, but all while taking heavy cues from Quantic Dream games like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human and whatnot. Which is not really my words, I'm just guessing, but apparently this is actual gameplay and built with Unreal Engine 5. However, this is early development and the full thing is set to be released by the end of 2023.
아니, 만약에 말이야. 그럼 내가 복수해줄까?
아니.
아니야?
하지 마. 넌 이미 죽었다며. 그럼 차라리 우리 딸을 위해 더 열심히 살아줘. 위험한 데는 근처도 가지 말고. 그래줄 수 있지?
Ancient secrets lie to the groundwork of our tragedy.
Coming up behind that, we've got Project Galileo. What is touted by its developers as an alternative take on the Souls-like formula, where you will have to shape the history the way it's meant to be shaped. Like pretty much all Assassin's Creed games or something like that, but in a Souls-like way. Now this is only a concept trailer, this game has yet to be given a release window, and we do know it's coming to PCs and all consoles except Switch.
You'll be my last verse.
On the other hand, by Digital Sky, which is this Chinese development studio, we have something called, and for a long time, Project DT. Actually from earlier this year, not for a long time, a science fiction based hack and slasher, and a lot in the same vein as the Devil May Cry games, and also the Metal Gears. See, Project DT doesn't have a release date yet, we're not even sure if it'll ever make it to the West either, however we do know it's coming to pieces in the next generation of consoles, possibly early next year. Moving on, and this is worth mentioning that Project Awakening was originally announced for the PlayStation 4 and around almost 4 years ago as well. We have here, well, for those of you new, another open world action RPG Souls-like that is just the most visually advanced game in today's list, and by the same developers behind another really great game in the making going by the name Granblue Fantasy Relink that's been in development since probably the past 200 years. All we know is that this game is in active development and probably releasing by the end of 2023. Moving on, we have Project Relic, currently slated for release early next year, so there is a lot of time for these folks to just fine-tune the hell out of this thing, in case the gameplay, as you can see, could look a little rough around the edges. Well, what it is, in case you're wondering, is a Souls-like multiplayer out of a South Korean developer going by Project Cloud Games. Actually not a bad-looking game either. We know it's coming to PCs and the consoles into both generation, and this is how it really works.
Today we're taking an in-depth look at the game, exploring its many features and mechanics.
Moving on, we have Project Ferocious. This is single-handedly the most anticipated indie first-person shooter that is being created by a single person. The game is a semi-open world survival, kind of in the same vein as old Far Cry games, except there's just dinosaurs here. Well, check it out, the game's set to be released rather soon, probably March next year, and on its way to PCs and all consoles simultaneously. Here.
Paying attention to this game. This is not a AAA game. This is a game being developed by a very small indie team. In fact, primarily an indie team consisting of one person with a small team of contractors assisting him. So if this is what is possible nowadays in an engine like Unity with primarily one main developer, wow, imagine what else must be possible. This game is very heavily influenced by games like Crysis and Far Cry. In fact, it even has a lot of the same features. Things like being able to edit the different attachments on your weapons using attachments that you scavenge from the battlefield. It even has other features similar to Crysis, like foliage that moves around you when you move through it, or even trees that can be destroyed.
Alright guys, at number 11 we have Project M from December last year. Technically a Souls-like semi-open world game we hear in the same style of Elden Ring, and an action RPG that's been in the works for almost 2 years now. Frankly, all we know is that the game is coming to all consoles and PCs. It's being developed by Hound 13, this is a South Korean studio, and gathered so far around $17 million of fund through its crowdfunding campaign, so check it out. At number 12, it's the one and only Project L. If there's one game that's everybody's waiting their butts off to finally have hands on, I believe it's probably this. Technically a fighting game based on the League of Legends universe, and by Riot Games itself, obviously. There is no release date for Project L, however, at this time, only a vague 2023. We know it's coming over to all consoles and PCs, Switch included, and that it's a 2.5-dimensional assist-based fighter. Check it out.
On top of strong fighting fundamentals. Our goal is to build a game that delivers a fast-paced, dynamic combat fantasy while leaving plenty of room for you to be creative and express yourself in gameplay. Like a lot of you out there, we're inspired by the insane outplays, hard reads, and 200 IQ plays behind some of the most iconic moments in fighting game history. The dream for us is to deliver a game that allows you to create new iconic moments for many years to come. Now let's talk about controls. I know that a lot of you have strong opinions about mechanical difficulty in fighting games. For Project L, we're embracing the easy to learn, hard to master mentality. So yes, we are making it easier to jump in with a new character and learn their basic kit. That said, we absolutely believe in rewarding the time you spend going deep on a character and providing opportunities for you to showcase your high-end mastery.
Moving on, we've got Project Kato, which is an upcoming cyberpunk-inspired hack and slasher and an open-world action RPG that's been around or in development for only 5 months now, I believe. Technically, since its initial online review. Now, Project Kato is, as you can see, set in this dystopian cyberpunk colony where machines have actually took over society, making humans into servants. That's the premise. The game, we know, only is coming to PCs and due out early to mid 2023. On the other hand, and this is technically in development since exactly last year, we have Project Exile, or Exile, I don't know, also by a single developer who describes it as a Souls-like action RPG and heavily focused on combat. Kinda reminds me of Bloodborne, to be frank, not really Elden Ring. Other than that, I don't really know much anything about this one, except the game is coming over to PCs through a demo soon, and the full game releasing at least its earliest mid 2023. Check it out. And last but not least, well, y'all know I always try to save the best for last. We have Project Terra, literally just a perfect mix of 2.5 dimensional with pixel art aesthetics. An open world action RPG, I believe, is here in the same vein as Chrono Trigger, and a PC exclusive. The game is in development since early 2021 and only rumored to be released by the end of next year.